On NewsHour tonight, Shariah Council urges Tinubu to reconsider INEC chair over alleged sectarian remarks. Anti-Trump protests erupt in Kano over U.S. threat to strike Nigeria. Observers lament vote buying, low turnout in Anambra governorship election. Away from Nigeria, Tanzania police arrest opposition party official after deadly election protests. Good evening, this is NewsHour on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. The Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to review the appointment of Professor George Ojo Amopitan as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, following allegations that he once authored a divisive and anti-Muslim legal paper. In a statement signed by its Secretary General, Nephew Baba Ahmed, the council said it was deeply concerned by a recent Sahara Reporters publication claiming that Professor Amopitan, in a 2020 legal brief, made provocative, distorted and bigoted assertions about conflicts in northern Nigeria and the historical legacy of Sheikh Uthman bin Danfodio's jihad. The Commission described the alleged content as toxic and unbecoming of someone now entrusted with safeguarding Nigeria's democratic process. According to the Council, the alleged paper wrongly characterized northern violence as Christian genocide and sought to link the 19th century jihad led by Sheikh Uthman bin Danfodio. The Council said such a connection was a malicious distortion of history and a deliberate misrepresentation of one of West Africa's most revered reform movements. Joining us via phone call to discuss this is political analyst Comrade Salihu Dantata Mahmood. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NewsHour tonight.
Good evening and welcome for Nation Building Posture. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Mahmood, could you tell us what's your take on the call by the Shariah Council to have the INEC chairman removed due to some paper he wrote allegedly in 2020?
Well, as a patriotic Nigerian, I feel we should always go by standards. Internationally, if you are found to have made insightful statements that could make violence erupt, then automatically you are not qualified to hold public office. Unfortunately, reverse is the case in Africa. Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, don't forget, during the military era, he once made a statement that he doesn't believe in Nigeria. But today, he is president and commander-in-chief. So there are a lot of people holding positions of authority, governors, senators, House of Rep members, ministers, ES, Director Generals, ambassadors, and host of others who have made certain inflammatory statements. You see, integrity is not given a due course and place in Nigerian politics. Therefore, trying to say the INEC chairman, Professor Amopitan, should be relieved of his appointment, I think is something that I believe, if the president has confidence in him, is very, very difficult, because it is a matter of the presidency believing in you and not public interest. So I don't foresee the call for the organization being taken seriously. But if we are to go by standards, by now, without even him in relief of his appointment, is supposed to be putting up his resignation letter. But this is a third world country, and this is Nigeria, and a lot of them, if you are to go by their past statements, they've made such inflammatory statements. You see, sometimes you don't take certain statements made maybe in private capacity seriously. Forget, he's a constitutional lawyer, he's a legal person, and also an analyst. Maybe he made it out of error, or maybe he made it to satisfy certain interests. But if integrity and tenets of holding of public office is to go by, the presidency is supposed to withdraw his appointment as chairman of INEC. Be it as it may, INEC is not like an office related to security of a nation or intelligence office. Were it to be Director General DSS, NIA, or even any security-related office, I think immediately he's supposed to put in his resignation. But election duties, electoral umpire differs from other offices. So if, of course, is going to hold the trust of conducting free and fair election, I think we can overlook, because we are talking about building the nation, especially at this time that America has raised issue related to that. Me, as a Nigerian, I think there are certain issues we can overlook.
Okay. Now, this equally brings to bear the vetting processes of this political appointment. Do we say that we need to now have a deeper look and change the vetting process whereby these issues don't come up after this person has now been appointed, and made a full, given the full appointment?
Let me tell you one thing. The Department of State Services has been disappointing Nigerians. For anyone to be recommended or nominated for any appointment, they have what you call profiling. But these days, corruption, with due respect to the new DG, corruption has taken over everywhere, where you see even some of the officers in the Department of State Services headquarters designated will do let my people go. And sometimes you cannot rule out interference from presidency officials, where even before they go for that GSS profiling and background checking or vetting, certain high echelons say, this is our candidate, let it go. Beyond just that, what about the screening process? Don't forget Professor Amuk Peter went through Senate screening. At the end of the day, he took a bow and left. So the issues I'm talking about is the moment the presidency likes you, wants you to be there, all the rigorous processes are made easier. They will make phone call, come, let this be, let this go. Even the Senate that is supposed to be legislature. So these are some of the issues. It is when we now put things right, no fear, no favor, and you allow profiling to be, whether you are close to some top officials in the villa or not, or maybe this and that. Outside that, it is very difficult. So you cannot also blame them sometimes, because their higher echelons also need to protect their seat. If, for example, from the presidency, somebody that is high there, say you do this or you don't do that as a DG or the director, you can be fired. Then even in the Senate, if you don't do their bidding, when your re-election comes, they must make you have the party nomination. So people are also protecting their own positions, and they do the bidding of the government of the day.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Mahmood, one very important question will be, will this in any way actually impact the public opinion's belief in INEC's neutrality if it's supposed belief that the person on the seat has certain opinions?
Well, you see, sometimes individual opinions differs. Every individual. In democracy, there is freedom of speech, freedom of expression, association, and all some other things. So I think the INEC chairman at that time, in his private capacity, he wasn't holding a public office. He expressed that in his private capacity. We have seen also, even among us Muslims, where some of our Muslim Islamic clerics make certain inflammatory statements sometimes. Professor Pantani, for instance, before his appointment by the Buhari administration, was also quoted to have made certain inflammatory statements, but he became Minister of Communication. He was screened by the Senate. So I think we are a secular nation. Sometimes we need to tolerate ourselves. For example, of recent, Reverend Father Matthew Kuka, even though in Sokoto Diocese made some inflammatory statements, that did not stop from also kicking against Trump's submission on Christian genocide in Nigeria. So I think at this point in time, we need to tolerate ourselves. Don't forget, we have Nigeria Interreligious Council. If you're a member of CAN, automatically, or a Christian, sometimes you come in defense of the Christian faith. If you're a Muslim, you come in defense of the Muslim faith. I'll give you an example of one of my good friends, Professor Akintola of Lagos State University, is custodian and convener of a Muslim Rights Council. Sometimes he also makes certain statements in defense of Islamic faith. So I think we should see the past statement made by Professor Amukpeta as his personal opinion, and I believe with him being in charge of INEC now would make such kind of statement. So let us forgive and forget. I'm a Muslim, I'm a bona fide Muslim, but I want us to ensure unity, oneness, tolerance, patience, and perseverance, particularly at this time that President Trump is trying to inform the world about Christian genocide in Nigeria. What we need is to forgive and forget. If it's a Muslim that makes certain statements, let us weigh it. If there are areas we can caution the people and let it be. Now that is INEC chairman, I don't think Professor Amukwita will make such statement anymore. So I am appealing to my fellow Muslims, including Hakim Baba Ahmed, let us forgive Professor Amukwita. The responsibility given to him now is to conduct free and fair election, both governorship, state house of assembly election, house of rep, senatorial, presidency, and host of others. So I think it stands as his personal opinion done to defend his faith, which our fellow Muslims also does.
All right, our final question before we let you go. What does this controversy reveal about the role of religion in political appointments?
You see, religion play vital and critical role. I can tell you, except we want to pretend. In every appointment, sometimes certain considerations are made. So, and that is why you see some of these people, they do things to impress their faith. For example, in the Christian faith, automatically, if you are coming to be appointed as a Christian to hold certain, can an order of your followership also go by your statements and give certain difference? If you are a Muslim, same way. So presently, we are not mature to that extent. Religion plays certain role. There are certain appointments that are made via the contribution of clergies in the Christian faith, Muslim, Islamic faith, and also other things. So the two religions, the religion influences. There are certain people that are recommended sometimes by some strong Islamic clerics, strong Christian clerics. So we cannot pretend about that. Presently, we are not matured to where we do away with religious consideration. Look at what we played in 2023. Muslim ticket. Kashim Shettima Muslim as Vice President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a Muslim. He still went. So that is to tell you religion also influences even elections and also other things. So we cannot do away with this one, except if our democracy stabilizes like American democracy. You can see election of mayor in New York, a Muslim. So in Nigeria, I want to tell you it is very difficult. You go to certain Christian-dominated areas and you get a Muslim or Muslim-dominated area and you get a Muslim to win that kind of a landslide victory as recorded in the New York mayoral election recently.
Okay, thank you so much for your insights joining us tonight on the news, Comrade Salihu Dantata Mahmood.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure joining you this evening. Thank you very much.
That was Comrade Isa Dantata Mahmood talking to us about the Shariah Council asking that the INEC chairman be removed due to some remarks made in a legal document in 2020. Now to more news. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria on Friday staged a protest against recent remarks by United States President Donald Trump alleging a genocide against Christianity in the country. The protesters, who tripped out in large numbers, marched through major streets of Kano, carrying flags and placards rejecting Trump's claim that Christians are being massacred in Nigeria. Some of the protesters displayed pictures of the U.S. president to show their anger over his comments. In a statement signed by Professor Abdullahi Danladi, the group dismissed recent claims of a Christian genocide in the country as false and dangerous, describing them as part of a Western propaganda effort to sow division and justify foreign interference. He warned that the narrative pushed by U.S. President Donald Trump and other American voices is a strategy to destabilize Nigeria under the guise of protecting Christians, urging Nigerians of all faiths to unite against corruption and external manipulation. The Miyetti-Allah Cattle Breed Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, has criticized the move by the United States lawmakers to impose sanctions on the group over alleged violations of religious freedom in Nigeria. This comes after the U.S. House of Representatives called on the Departments of State and Treasury to impose targeted sanctions on some Nigerian organizations, including Miyetti-Allah Cattle Breed Association of Nigeria and Miyetti-Allah Cattle Hor. U.S. President Donald Trump and earlier designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged persecution of Christians. Abdullahi Bakoji Adamu, a state leader of Miyetti-Allah, said the United States should not act on half-truths or incomplete investigations. Bakoji, who is also the country director of the International Human Rights Commission Relief Funds Trust, IHRC-RFT, said it would be unfair to hold an entire organization responsible for the action of a few members. He added that blanket sanctions could create tension and misunderstanding within the Fulani community and worsen insecurity. Still staying with reactions from Trump's speech, it has continued to trail the recent comments by President Trump, who alleged that a Christian genocide is taking place in Nigeria. The remarks have sparked intense debate, particularly in northern Nigeria, where many fear possible military action should the United States decide to intervene. Trust TV correspondent tells us more in this report.
The statements by U.S. President Donald Trump, placing Nigeria on a list of countries of particular concern over alleged killings of Christians, has drawn widespread reactions from across the country. Many voices in the North describe the claim as an attempt by the United States to pursue a hidden agenda under the guise of humanitarian intervention rather than genuinely helping Nigeria address its security challenges.
Widespread
religious leaders, civil society groups, and other prominent voices within and outside Nigeria say the comment amount to an effort to undermine Nigeria's sovereignty and image on the global stage. From religious center to civil forums, Nigerians continue to express concern over what they describe as a misleading and one-sided narrative about the country's security situation.
This statement coming from a leader of one of the most powerful nations in the world is not only shocking, but deeply regrettable. It is an unfortunate remark that lacks the depth of understanding, balance, and evidence required before making such a far-reaching declaration about another sovereign nation. However, to describe this as a targeted massacre of Christians is both inaccurate and misleading. Yes. Nigeria's current security situation is painful for all of us, but it's crucial to understand that the violence affects both Christians and Muslims alike. There is no credible evidence of a government policy, military operation, or systematic campaign aimed at killing Christians.
Awol said the U.S. government should rely on balanced, fact-based report rather than what he described as biased assessment of Nigeria's security realities.
If President Trump were being fair and objective, he would have also mentioned the killings of Muslims in northern Nigeria, where thousands have lost their lives to insurgent attacks and banditry. Entire communities, mosques, and innocent families have been destroyed by the same terror element. Why then is this outrage selective? History has repeatedly shown that U.S. military intervention really bring peace from Libya to Iraq, from Syria to Afghanistan. Every so-called humanitarian or military intervention has left behind broken nation, shattered economies, and countless civilians' deaths.
He also called on Nigerians to remain united and vigilant, warning against any strategic attempt to divide citizens along religious lines. According to him, both Muslims and Christians have coexisted peacefully for generations, often marrying and sharing common values of unity and tolerance. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Away from that, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Okonjo-Iweala, has distanced herself from a viral social media post falsely attributed to her, which criticized President Bola Tinubu over the way he handles insecurity in Nigeria. A post via her verified X handle on Saturday described the message as fake and malicious, stressing that it did not originate from her. She cautioned the public against believing or sharing the false information, adding that legal steps were being taken against those behind the impersonation. The clarification comes following a post titled, "Trump didn't hit us, our leaders did," which claimed that Okonjo-Iweala accused Nigerian leaders of prioritizing rhetoric over decisive action against banditry and insurgency. It also claimed that the former Minister of Finance urged Tinubu to stop the damage control speeches and secure the people. Okonjo-Iweala, however, condemned the impersonation and urged the culprits to take responsibility instead of hiding behind her identity. Over in Taraba State, the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, the state's command, has intensified its security operations in Jalingo by commissioning additional officers in areas identified as potential criminal hideouts. Speaking during the commissioning ceremony on Tuesday, the state commander of the group said the move was aimed at bringing security closer to communities that are vulnerable to criminal activities. The report.
He explained that the establishment of new offices in these strategic locations would help strengthen surveillance, improve rapid response, and deter criminal elements operating within and around Jalingo.
We have been opening offices for security purpose in order to protect the people that are living in those areas. That's why we are opening it in every ward. For instance, we went to Barade, and here is Sabongari, and we went to Yelwa too. We opened there, and there are other places that we are unable to open it, but we will open them.
Community leaders and residents in the affected areas commended the group's efforts, describing the developments as a welcome step towards restoring peace and public confidence.
Before now, we were not safe in our homes due to frequent criminal attacks by hoodlums. But with the efforts of the present administration in tackling insecurity, the atmosphere is now peaceful and calm. We really appreciate the Vigilante group in Taraba because they are closer to the people compared to other security agencies brought in from different parts of the state. A lot went wrong in the past. People were wrongly judged and some took the law into their own hands. That must stop. We now have a Vigilante office close by. Whenever there is a problem, report it immediately to them. As a member of the Barade Ward, Vigilante, your jurisdiction is only within Barade. Anyone who attempts to make arrests outside our area must be punished accordingly. Opening this office in our community is a great achievement. We have many places around here where criminals used to hide and come out at night to carry out their evil acts. But with the presence of the Vigilante group in the area, such activities will definitely reduce. We are calling on the Vigilante members not to misuse this opportunity for any unlawful act. And we also urge residents to report any suspicious movement to the Vigilante office for quick action.
Representatives of the Nigerian police force applauded the initiative, noting that community-based security efforts play a crucial role in complementing the work of conventional security forces.
I want to assure you that relationship between you and the Nigerian police is still there, and it will continue to exist. Most of you know me here. I don't play with you people. Anything that has to do with you, no. Even before we were informed that eventually that wouldn't get family. And we will not pray to see anybody with problem. When discussing the state chairman, I think there will be a class that will be organized whereby we are going to lecture you on how you operate.
The Vigilante group reiterated its commitment to maintaining peace and order across Taraba State and called on residents to cooperate by sharing timely information about suspicious movements and activities.
We opened the offices in some strategic locations in Jalingo to tackle the security challenges that people report almost every day. We are now opportune to open our offices in Yelwa Abare, Baradewad, and Kachalla, Zamebe. And the next places are Magoy, Sintali B Ward, and Majidadi Ward Jalingo. The newly elected commanders should ensure justice in their duties.
Local government commander VGN residents call on the security agencies to discharge their duties diligently.
We go to Anambra State, where some international and local observers have expressed concern over reports of vote buying and low voter turnout during Saturday's governorship election in the state. Reports from Yerga Africa, European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria, too, and other partner organizations indicated that voter turnout was low in most polling units across the 21 local government areas of the state. Speaking to newsmen in Norca, the executive director of Yerga, Samson Itodo, identified vote buying and low turnout as recurring issues observed in the thematic areas of the election. In the meantime, some of the candidates alleged vote buying. The African Democratic Congress ADC's John Wosu accused the ruling All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA of buying votes. Nicholas Ukachukwu of the All Progressives Congress APC also made a similar allegation, claiming the intimidation of his party's agents in some parts of the state. Incumbent Charles Soludo also claimed there were plots to rig the exercise, but was confident of winning the election. Civil society group Situation Room also reported cases of vote buying, prompting EFCC monitoring. Minor beavers glitches were reported, but voting remained largely peaceful. INEC said 2.8 million registered voters were expected across 5,718 polling units in the exercise and had 16 candidates vying for the state's top job.
You have to qualify to vote and be voted for. And they just approved that actually I'm qualified to be voted for. And then it feels good to be part of a process that will move this state forward.
Is that they have written results which they want to swap during the collation process. That they will want to swap them. They were even trying to tell, they had meetings with polling agents telling them not to write the results properly, not to upload the results on IREV, and so on. So they can have room to be able to manipulate. But we have confidence in the system, that the system eventually will sort it all out. It's vigilance. People are vigilant. We're organized. We're united. And we'll follow the process.
Everywhere, to a very large extent, we've experienced hitch-free exercise from the point of view of the federal security agencies. However, it's important to note that in Anambra State, a couple of local governments, the mayor of my local government, for instance, has been moving about the whole place, intimidating voters, with a bus packed full of thugs and state-funded militia, harassing and intimidating voters.
For me, yes, you're right. I'm a member of Labour Party, and I support the Labour Party candidate. But quite frankly, everybody that is involved with this election is my brothers, my sisters, and everything. I'm not in ballot. I've been governor 13 years ago, so I'm not in this. I'm strictly in Champions League of Nigerian politics and contesting to be president of Nigeria. So for people who are in first division, I wish them well. And I'm sure they will do very well. Whoever wins, let him serve the people.
Still staying with the elections in Anambra State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has uploaded over 95% of results from Saturday's governorship election on its result viewing portal, IREV. Data from the portal shows steady progress and result transmission from polling units across the state's 21 local government areas, reflecting improved efficiency in the use of technology compared to previous elections. According to figures available on the IREV portal, results from 5,472 out of 5,720 polling units have been uploaded so far. INEC has assured that all results remain secured and verifiable throughout the process, reaffirming its commitment to conducting a credible and transparent election. Moving on, the rising cost of baby items in Nigeria, especially food and diapers, has forced many nursing mothers to return to traditional feeding methods using locally processed grains such as pap, also known as ogi or akamu. Many mothers lament that the prices of baby foods have become unbearable, saying they now cost more than house rent. The report.
In Lagos, several mothers are expressing frustration over the daily rise in prices of essential baby items, particularly food and diapers. A tin of original non-baby milk now sells for about 15,000 naira in supermarkets, while cheaper brands go for between 11,500 and 12,000 naira. Some nursing mothers who spoke to Trust Television say baby items have become luxury goods, describing the inflation as overwhelming and unsustainable for average families. Many have now turned to locally made foods such as pap, ogi, and akamu, which they say are more affordable and nutritious alternative to imported baby formulas.
It's not easy being the nursing mother. The diapers, the baby food, everything, they are just too expensive to afford. So we can't afford them like before. Things are not like before. Like before, we give our children, once they are up to 3-4 months, we start giving them baby food. But now, we can't afford the baby food.
We cannot even calculate how many we've bought. Like even in a month, if you want to calculate the things we buy in a month for baby, it's even more than the house rent we are even renting. And if we talk about the pampers, they are cheaper one and they are very expensive one. We cannot say because of how the things are, we'll now go and buy the cheaper one. The cheaper one, the baby cannot even use it even up to 3 seconds or it will soak.
And the cheapest milk you can get now is about 11,500, which a layman can hardly afford now. And even if you're talking about the 11,500 for baby food, they are of low qualities. So that is why some of we mothers switch to, local foods. Even the local foods are not cheap, but at least you have to manage it because of the way things are happening. The economy of Nigeria is bad.
Making for myself is more economical. It saves me costs. Like if I want to make a series now for like pap, if I buy pap of how much, like a pint, I will take it for a very long time. But if I want to buy him a pack of little green now, every 2 weeks I do buy him pack. Depends on how I eat it. At times weekly. So making myself is more cheaper for me. It's better.
The mothers are appealing to government to introduce measures that will help cushion the effect of rising prices on baby products. They also want intervention programs to support nursing and expectant mothers, saying the economic hardship is making parenting increasingly difficult.
You're still on to News Hour and Trust. When we return from the break, we'll take a look at experts' eye economic gains through improved varieties. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, a recap of our top stories. We told you that Shariah Council urges Tinubu to reconsider INEC chair over alleged sectarian remarks. We also told you that anti-Trump protests erupt in Kano over United States threat to strike Nigeria. Two more stories. The Nasarawa State Police Command has confirmed that 2 persons were killed and 1 abducted following a gunman attack on Sardauna Normal community in Kenya local government area of the state. Police Public Relations Officer SP Ramahan Nansel, who disclosed this in a statement on Saturday, said the attack occurred on Friday night and also left several residents injured. Reacting to the development, the Commissioner of Police deployed operatives attached to the Kadokro Division to the area, who combed the bush and arrested 1 Eroyaro, age 45, of Sardauna Normal village in connection with the crime. He assured that investigation into the incident is ongoing, while normalcy has been restored to the area. As part of efforts to strengthen the capacity of its personnel in responding effectively to emerging security threats, including explosive, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear hazards, the Nigerian police forces trained 325 officers from various commands across the country. The officers completed a basic course in explosive ordnance disposal and CBRN operations at the Police Mobile Training School in the Hill, Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report is presented from our studio.
Declaring the training closed, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, charged the officers to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and patriotism in the discharge of their duties. Represented by Commissioner of Police Hawa Ibrahim, who heads the EOD unit at the force headquarters, the IGP said the skills acquired during the course will enhance the force's capacity to tackle crimes involving explosives and other hazardous materials across the country.
His vision for a more competent, responsive and resilient police service continues to inspire us all. This training stands as a testament to his unwavering commitment to equipping personnel with the requisite skills to confront emerging security threats in line with global best practice.
And also remind you that to whom much is given, much more is expected. I urge you to be professional and also be good ambassador of this training institution and the Nigerian police force at large.
The Inspector General reaffirmed the force's commitment to continuous training and capacity development as part of its broader strategy to safeguard lives and properties nationwide. He said the training, which brought together officers from various units and command, was designed to enhance their technical expertise in handling explosives and managing hazardous situations. Representing the commandant of the Police Mobile Force Training College, Andy Hill, Nasarawa State DCP Sunday Odupita, CSP Abdulaziz charged the participants to be good ambassadors of the force and to apply the knowledge gained during the 4 weeks intensive course in their daily operations.
And I would like to thank the IGP and the CP of the EOD for giving me this opportunity to undergo this training, and for the fact I came out as the best student is actually a good thing, and I'm really happy, and I wish and I know I'm going to deploy it in the field and to make Nigerian police proud.
Among the graduates, Police Constable Ruth Ahmed emerged as the overall best trainee, outperforming several senior officers. She pledged to put her newly acquired skill to use in advancing policies efforts and appreciated the Nigerian police force for providing the opportunity to enhance officers' professional competence.
Nigerians are being encouraged to plant improved varieties of oil palm seedlings to support livelihoods, create alternative sources of income, and boost the nation's economy. Experts say oil palm and its value chain hold enormous economic potential globally, noting that some improved species, such as the Shariah variety, can begin to yield fruits in as little as 2 to 3 years. Trust TV's correspondent in this report takes a look at the growing importance of oil palm cultivation for economic recovery and sustainability.
The cultivation of oil palm seedlings has become increasingly important, especially with the availability of improved high-yielding species like the Shariah palm. Despite Nigeria's long history with oil palm, only a few farmers still cultivate the crop, either for domestic use or for commercial purposes. Some state governments, such as Benue, are now encouraging residents to plant palm trees, given their numerous economic and environmental benefits.
Palm cultivation is a very lucrative business in agriculture. It's part of the agricultural value chain. It's also part of renewed climate change resilience, ecosystem dynamics that are being initiated, especially in this state. Activities engaged in palm seedling production and processing has a long value chain. These days, when we talk about palm trees, we don't normally end up with palm oil as usual again. It has industrial values. Our industries now require them for various use, for oil, after the production, the kernels itself, even the back of the kernel themselves are now needed by the industry for processing into various items that we need.
For other farmers like Rafael Kundiyo, palm tree cultivation has brought both economic and environmental benefits. He says his family has relied on palm oil from his own farm for over a decade.
Palm plants are very important in economic trees. The palm trees has been here for the past 10 years. I have a lot of economic importance from it. Hence then, that they came to maturity, I have never been buying palm oil from the market. My family depends heavily on it.
The Benue State government says it is prioritizing palm cultivation as a special intervention project. The initiative aims to boost revenue, enhance climate resilience, and promote self-reliance, targeting the planting of at least 1 million palm trees each year.
If everybody is able to have one tree, what you can get from the oil palm on one tree per season, if you estimately plus or minus, you're getting 100,000. It means that if the Benue State, we have 6 million, everyone is able to get one tree per person, man, woman, child, and is able to get just one tree per person. It means that 100,000 times 6 million, we are talking of billions, and billions is chunked up every year for only the palm. We're not talking of other products.
Experts describe oil palm cultivation as a vital source of income, with products such as palm oil, palm wine, and palm kernel oil used in food production and industry. They say the sector offers huge opportunities for foreign exchange earnings and job creation, prospects that Nigerians are encouraged to embrace.
Nigeria's fashion industry is a dynamic and growing economic sector valued at approximately $6.1 billion in 2024. It is increasingly recognized globally, driven by new designers blending traditional and modern styles, and it is a significant source of employment, particularly for women and youth. The growth has positioned the sector to play a critical role as Nigeria adopts Afro-Leganza vision to revolutionize African fashion industry. Yusuf Okogo reports.
The Nigerian fashion industry is a major contributor to Nigeria's GDP and is projected to grow significantly, with some estimates reaching up to $10 billion annually if fully optimized. In view of this, the adoption of Afro-Leganza vision by Nigeria demonstrates both national commitment to positioning culture, fashion, heritage, and the creative economy at the center of the country's engagement with Africa and the global community. The Minister of Art, Culture, Tourism, and the Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, said the Confederation of African Fashion aims to grow Africa's fashion economy from $30 billion to $500 billion while creating jobs and generate foreign earnings.
That has never been projected in the way it has is going to be done here by government. So, I have a lot of confidence in the ability of this particular project to add the economic value that we spoke of, the job creation, and of course the soft power as well. And, just bring unity, bring Nigerians back into one vision, one African united vision of unity, peace, diversity, but unity in that diversity.
President of CAFA said the adoption marks a significant milestone in the country's commitment to lead Africa's fashion renaissance.
As you know, the establishment of an institution requires quite a bit. So what you're going to find next is, of course, working closely with the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that African countries sign into the charter. There's quite a bit coming on. The African Union summit is going on in February. There's quite a bit of work we're doing with the ministry to ensure that we can get other African countries to sign.
Afro-Leganza seeks to build a structured, values-driven fashion economy rooted in African heritage, led by African institutions, and positioned for global impact. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, has urged leaders across northern Nigeria to uphold the timeless ideals of the late Premier, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, describing them as the bedrock of purposeful leadership and regional unity. The governor made the call while receiving a delegation from the Sardauna Memorial Foundation, led by its chairman and former Niger State Governor, Muazu Babangida Aliyu, at the Government House in Dutse. Governor Namadi commended the foundation for preserving the Sardauna's legacy and promoting values of service, integrity, and unity across the North.
Namadi extolled the Sardauna's exemplary life of selfless service, fairness, empathy, and inclusive governance, saying his principles remain a guiding light for those entrusted with public leadership in the North. He stressed that sustaining these ideals among the present generation of leaders will inspire young Nigerians to appreciate the true meaning of patriotism and good governance.
Well, I think, like I said earlier, the legacies of Sardauna are something that are necessary to be emulated by those of us that are in a position of responsibility today. And the issue is that we know that Sardauna has served this part of this country with everything, with his life, with his time, with everything. So I think it is important we should learn from there. Because the issue is, if we have continued the way he has started, we wouldn't have been where we are today. So because so that issue of education, issue of health, issue of social security, even the security of our people, if we really walk along the pathway of Sardauna, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But all the same, I think it's not late. Since we have people that are reminding us that, look, there is something that we have missed and that this is we need to come back to on track.
In his remarks, Muazu Babangida Aliyu commended Governor Namadi for agreeing to host the upcoming Sardauna Memorial Lecture and Award Ceremony, an event dedicated to celebrating the vision, courage, and achievement of the late Northern Premier. Aliyu noted that while the region once looked up to one Sardauna, the North today has 19 governors who should each embody his spirit of unity, justice, and commitment to collective progress. The foundation announced that details of the 2026 Memorial Lecture and Award presentation will be released in due course.
Sometimes you look at the population and how the population explosion has affected the morale and the morality. During the Sir Ahmadu Bello period, we saw what honesty was all about. When he died, he had only one house in Sokoto. In fact, they said his account was in red because of his generosity from his own personal money. Nowadays, some of our leaders, they see government money like their own personal money. And we must be careful, because as we go along, I have seen what has happened in Nepal.
Through its annual lectures and outreach programs, the Sardauna Memorial Foundation continues to promote the enduring legacy of Sir Ahmadu Bello, reminding Nigerians that unity, integrity, and service remain central to North's development and national cohesion.
In the business scene, Nigeria's stock market ended the week on a bearish note as investor sentiment weakened following U.S. President Donald Trump's recent threat to launch a military invasion of Nigeria. Data from the Nigerian Exchange Limited shows the all-share index dropped by 2.11% week on week, while market capitalization fell by 2.8 trillion naira to 94.9 trillion naira. The decline was driven by sustained sell pressure on major stocks, profit-taking, and concerns over fiscal proposals, including a planned 25% capital gains tax expected to take effect in January of 2026. Despite the sharp fall, market analysts describe the development as a healthy correction, offering long-term investors new entry opportunities. Chief Executive Officer of the exchange, Jude Chiemeka, said the current market level presents a chance for portfolio repositioning and value creation. Nigeria's naira and external reserves closed the week stronger, buoyed by renewed investor confidence following the federal government's successful and oversubscribed Eurobond issuance. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that the naira appreciated marginally by 17 kobo to close at 1,436 naira 57 cents per dollar on Friday, compared to 1,436 naira 74 kobo the previous day. At the parallel market, the currency gained 25 naira day on day to close at 1,455 naira on Friday, although it weakened slightly over the week due to increased forex demand ahead of the festive season. Nigeria's external reserves also rose modestly to $33.32 billion as of November 6, up from $43.25 billion at the start of the month. Analysts attributed the increase to Eurobond inflows and improved oil earnings. Away from Nigeria, in Tanzania, the government is seeking to arrest senior opposition figures it blames for deadly protests that swept the country during last week's presidential and parliamentary elections. The main opposition party, Chadema, and some human rights activists say security forces killed more than 1,000 people. The government has called those numbers exaggerated without offering its own death toll. Police on Saturday listed 10 people who are wanted in connection with their investigation of the unrest, a day after prosecutors charged 145 people with treason. Those being sought for arrest include Chadema's Secretary General, John Nyinka, his deputy, Aman Gulugwa, and the party's head of communications, Brenda Rupia. The statement said Chadema's leader, Tundu Lissu, was charged with treason in April, and his exclusion from the ballot, along with another leading opposition contender, has largely driven the protests. Over in South America, a tornado killed at least 5 people and injured around 130 when it swept through parts of a town in southern Brazil on Friday, authorities have disclosed. The twister overturned cars and damaged homes in the Paraná state, the local weather service reported. Initial reports also indicate that there are 30 people with serious or moderate injuries and around 100 with minor injuries, the local rescue agency added. Winds in Rio Bonito do Icuqua, population 14,000, reached between 180 and 250 kilometers per hour, according to Paraná's environmental technology and monitoring system. The agency said there were fallen trees and even damage to masonry on homes. The governor of Paraná, Tinubu Jr., said on X that security forces are on alert, mobilized and monitoring the cities affected by the severe storms. In the sports scene, the Federal Capital Territory representative in the Nigerian National League City Football Club launched new kits and unveiled officials and players for 2025-26 league season. Trust TV sports reporter Adeni Ejisafe has more.
Football enthusiasts in Abuja witnessed solid football display as City FC of Abuja prepares ahead of the new league season in the Nigerian National League. City FC Abuja, founded in 2022 with a vision to bring top-tier football to the heart of Nigeria's capital, have grown into a formidable force. In preparation for the new league season, the Abuja-based football club launched new set of kits for their home and away games at FIFA Go Project Pitch, MK Abiola Stadium, Abuja. The club also unveiled players and officials that will prosecute their fixtures to achieve greater height. The citizens show what they are made of, beating NAF FC 4-0 in the exhibition match to keep them in shape ahead of their big clash against Lobby Stars. Head coach Yamoa Richard says City FC are ready for the season.
We are ever ready for the league. Just only this 4-0. We started from the grass. At least we don't reach here. We thank God. At least we're able to exhibit what we teach them from the grass. Now we are here, so approaching the next week, we're approaching the league, the main proper league. So at least we tell our fans, may they support us for the league.
Coach of Nigerian Air Force Football Club, NAF FC, believes fatigue affected his team's performance.
Hopefully, like this very much, I believe that the match is supposed to end draw, but because we played the match for the past 1 week while we're playing the match, so I know the fatigue is with my boys. That's why the match was like this.
City FC President Chidi Okonkwo said the mission of the club is to promote football excellence in the FCT.
The problem in Nigeria, sometimes we don't do things the way it should be. We just unveiled the jersey as to symbolize that the team is actually an FCT team. It is not, people might say it belongs to me, but I think it belongs to the entire FCT. As you can see today, the who is who, everybody was here. So it shows the support and the backup from the capital city for the team. So we have to unveil the team to the fans for them to see, to have a little bit of idea of what they are expecting in the season. That is the essence of the unveiling.
Okonkwo believes it's time for Abuja to have a team in the MPFL.
This is the first time the entire FCT, all the teams in FCT have come together to say no, we have to stop all this infight. Because what has stopped, to be honest, what has stopped FCT not to have premiership all these years is infight. It's in-house fighting. This one is battling this. When we were in the Premier, we have almost, when we were in the NNL, we were having almost about 6 NNL teams in FCT. And still we couldn't agree to come together. Twice is FCC that stopped us not to get the promotion twice. So Now that everybody, if you see the general manager of EFCC is working in city now, the manager of NAF is working in city, everybody is putting head together, trying to, you can see some EFCC players in city now, you can see some NAF players, they are in city. So everybody has put, we have to bury all what has happened in the past. We all agree, this is the team that is ready now, and let everybody support.
The unveiling had a touch of entertainment as football flowed with music in the arena. CTFC supporters are eager to witness solid performances and progress to the Apex League to put FCT in the heart of football league cities in Nigeria. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe. Fumbo enthusiasts in the
And that wraps up News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs and documentaries, do well to follow us on social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo, on behalf of the news production team. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.